Hello, welcome to News Now on TV360. I'm Thelma Okoro. Nigeria's President Goodluck Jonathan Monday in Abuja assured that the country's armed forces and security agencies will sustain and intensify ongoing operations against insurgents in the country's northeastern states to achieve improved security ahead of the 2015 general elections. President Jonathan, who was speaking at an audience with the Israeli ambassador to Nigeria, Uriel Palti, said Nigeria will also continue to work with neighboring countries for the effective implementation of the regional security arrangements recently concluded to enhance multilateral cooperation against terrorism. The president told the Israeli ambassador that the federal government was actively and progressively enhancing the ability of Nigeria's armed forces and security agencies to deal decisively with terrorists and insurgents. He said the positive effect of steps taken by the administration in this regard will soon become apparent. The Nigerian Prison Services says it has recaptured 108 inmates out of an estimated 175 prisoners who escaped from medium security prison in MINNA, Niger State, north-central Nigeria on the 6th of December 2014. Spokesperson of the service, Okbe Fatiko, in a statement said the inmates were recaptured through combined efforts of military, security and intelligence agencies and the cooperation of surrounding communities. He assured Nigerians that a search party comprising the Nigerian Army, DSS, police and prison officials are still conducting investigations and searching neighboring states. He, however, appealed to communities and neighboring states of Kwara, Kaduna, Kebbi and FCT to be vigilant and watch out for the remaining escaping inmates. Only a week ago, there was a jailbreak in Ado-Ekiti, the Ekiti state capital in southwest Nigeria, where 435 inmates escaped after being freed by unknown gunmen who stormed the prisons. Nigeria's main opposition party, the All Progressives Congress, has dismissed alleged comments credited to Chief Edwin Clark that if the opposition has its way, it can poison or kill President Goodluck Jonathan just to take over power. APC, in a statement by spokesperson Lai Mohammed, described the comments as absurd, incendiary and unbecoming of an elder statesman. The party said Clark's comments, which was widely reported by newspapers, is the latest in a string of statements by President Jonathan's supporters that are overheating the polity ahead of the 2015 general elections and are even threatening the peace and unity of the country. The APC spokesman said the party has never and will never contemplate killing or poisoning the president just to take power, as insinuated by Chief Clark. He said the party was not a violent body and would not seek power by any means other than through the ballot box. Meanwhile, the National Convention Committee of the party has assured delegates of adequate security during its national convention holding in Lagos between 10th and 11th of December. The committee, in a statement issued in Lagos on Monday, said it was collaborating with the Lagos state government and security agencies to put in place adequate arrangements aimed at ensuring security of delegates and reducing the burden of traffic congestion throughout the period of the convention. The party has urged the delegates to cooperate with security and traffic management officials during the period of the convention. Former Minister of State for Education Nyesom Wike has emerged the governorship candidate of the People's Democratic Party in Rivers State, South Nigeria. Wike clinched the party's ticket for the 2015 governorship polls after polling 1,083 votes in the primary conducted in Port Harcourt. Coming in distant was second, Dumbari Dimka, with 21 votes. Other aspirants, West Ibinabod, got just 3 votes, while Emmanuel Georgiou and Lee Maeba got 1 vote each. 17 out of the 24 governorship aspirants boycotted the exercise. Meanwhile, chairman of Rivers State chapter of the PDP, Felix Obua, has congratulated Wike over the victory at the party's primary. He described Wike's victory as a reward for hard work, love for the party. He enjoined all other aspirants who could not make it to support him and join hands with the party to form a formidable force capable of winning the governorship election in the state. Now let's take a look at the results from other states. In Niger State, former Chief of Staff to Governor Muazu Aliyu Umar Nasco won the PDP governorship ticket with 908 votes. In Kaduna, incumbent governor of the state, Mukhtar Yero, emerged the flag bearer of the PDP. In Abia State, it is Dr. Okeze Ikpeazu, who would be flying the party's flag in the PDP governorship flag, as he won the primary in that state. In Enugu State, chairman of the Senate Committee on Works, Senator Anyogu Eze, declared himself winner of a parallel governorship primary election, while Ifeanyi Ugwanyi won the governorship primary, which had the governor and other top PDP leaders in the state in attendance. So there is still a bit of confusion over there coming from the result. There is still also confusion in Ogun State, where Boyega Isiaka was declared winner of the primary, even when the National Secretariat of PDP had issued a directive that the primary exercise was postponed. Spokesperson of the party, Olisa Metu, in a statement in Abuja Monday, said that the primary was not authorized and that any exercise held in that state is null and void and of no effect. But state chairman of the PDP, Bayo Dayo, said he had not received any directive from the national body of the party to discontinue the process. Several other candidates boycotted the primary, and we will also wait and see to know if the national body of the party would recognize the primary exercise. In Lagos State, police fired tear gas to disperse a crowd that was causing trouble at the venue of the primary exercise. The atmosphere was really tense as delegates arrived early enough, but accreditation began rather late. Everyone believes it's a two-horse race between former Minister of State for Defense Senator Musiliu Obanikoro and businessman Jimmy Agbaje. The process is still ongoing as delegates are now casting their votes. There are fears, however, that the outcome may trigger another round of trouble for the crisis-ridden party in Lagos State. The PDP has never won a governorship election in Lagos. It is hoping to do this time around, even though analysts think it may not find it easy at all. We'll take a short break on news now. When we come back, we'll look at more news stories.
Every day, every hour, and every minute, news break in Nigeria. Things happen so fast, it's most times difficult to track and comprehend them. But that's what we do right here on TV360. 2015, would you want to come back again?
It's like asking Jesus Christ if he knew he was going to die, will you want to come back as the savior of the world again?
We do not just help you track the stories, we break them down, explore all the angles, analyze the issues so that you can fully comprehend the stories and use them to make the right decisions.
Welcome back to News Now. Let's take a look at business. Nigeria's Minister of Finance, Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, has assured that the federal government would protect the economy from external shock that might arise from the global drop in oil prices. Okonjo-Iweala was speaking at the National Insurance Summit in Abuja, organized by the National Insurance Commission. The minister, who delivered the keynote address at the event, said that while the economy was currently experiencing challenges, a lot of monetary and fiscal measures have been put in place to put it back on track. She said many private companies and households are concerned about how the current economic challenges will affect them, adding that government remains open to constructive criticism and ideas to tackle the present problems confronting the country. She disclosed that plans are underway to increase the insurance sector's gross written premiums from the current 300 billion naira to 1 trillion naira in the next 3 years and to 5 trillion naira within the next 10 years. A financial analyst, Ni Akinshiju, says the reactions of the Nigerian government so far over the global drop in oil prices show authorities were not prepared for the fall in prices, even when it was going to happen. Nigeria has had to review its 2015 budget downward twice within 2 weeks following the continued fall in oil prices. The current crude benchmark for the 2015 is now $65 per barrel, but Akinshiju says that might not be realistic.
You expect a proactive government to have seen this coming some 5-6 years ago. The signals to the likelihood of falling oil prices have been abroad, for more than 6 years. the US had discovered the technology to exploit and explore cheaply the shale oil reserve, and plus gas now. Saudi Arabia, the largest oil producer, had been talking about its incapacity to reduce its oil production, because of its need. We also had China trying to replace use of crude oil technology with electric-driven technology. So when you put all that together over the last 10 years, we've been relating with those information. Now, what that tells us is that eventually it will come impact on our economy, because it's the major export that we have. And despite all our propagated effort at diversifying, it's obvious, that we have not done anything out of it. And to make matters worse, the excess crude account had been depleted over time. I was thinking that the excess crude account was supposed to ameliorate things when it comes to a situation like this. We experienced that, I think, 2009 or thereabout, when we had about 30-something billion in our excess crude account, and it was able to cushion the negative effect of falling crude oil prices. Now, this one is more fundamental, because there are basic new sources of supply to the world, to the extent that our major importer, has reduced its demand from us to zero, and we've now had to start looking for ad hoc buyers, because if our major buyers are China and India now, they are ad hoc, because we know how these also run their economy. These economies are makeshift economies based on their own homegrown system. It's not the kind of established structure that you have in the US and some European countries. So I still expect the price of crude oil to keep falling. I still think 65 naira, the dollar benchmark, is still high, given what is coming on. Because if we had some other sources of supply in terms of our own products and all that, perhaps it could help ameliorate whatever is coming in. If China decides today to look for another supplier, and you have so many suppliers now, Angola has joined. Angola is the second largest producer of crude oil behind Nigeria. And the truth also is that they are producing more, because while we are producing, we have oil theft and all that have not been able, government has not been able to take care of that. So Angola would desperately be looking for where to supply. And since the US is not the likely source, likely point of supply, they will also be looking towards China and India. So I see strong competition. Ghana has also discovered oil. Chad is becoming very serious, very desperate to discover. The Gambia, is also discovering. So in the next 1 or 2 years, we expect more supply sources, and that threatens whatever we have. So $65 is still, for me, we're still joking, seriously.
Nigerians are now bracing up for at least 3 days of fuel scarcity, as the Petroleum and Natural Gas Senior Staff Association of Nigeria, PENGASSN, says it has concluded plans to embark on a 3-day warning strike over the delay in the passage of the Petroleum Industry Bill and other anti-labor activities of employers in the oil and gas sector. The oil workers are set to embark on the strike following the expiration of the 14-day ultimatum issued by the National Executive Council of PENGASSN to the federal government and other concerned employers and agencies in the sector. The union, in a statement, says the industrial action will affect every value chain in the upstream, midstream and downstream oil and gas industry of the country. What that means is that there would be a total shutdown of operations in the country's oil industry, and that would certainly mean long queues at petrol stations. On to the foreign scene now. A doctor from Sierra Leone has died from Ebola, making him the 10th doctor from the country to have died from the dreaded virus. Dr. Brima Kagbo, Sierra Leone's chief medical officer, said Dr. Isaiah Solomon Konoyema, died of Ebola on Saturday, December 6th. Details of how and where the doctor became infected are still unknown. Of the 11 Sierra Leone doctors infected with the virus, only one has survived. Konoyema, who tested positive for Ebola 2 weeks ago, worked at the Children's Hospital in Freetown, Sierra Leone capital. He was being treated at the Hastings Ebola Treatment Center, which is staffed exclusively by local Sierra Leone medical personnel, before he passed away. More than 5,000 people have now been killed from Ebola in West Africa this year. Countries worst hit by the virus are Guinea, Liberia, and Sierra Leone. Tunisia will on December 21st hold the second round of presidential voting to decide who leads the country. Head of the ISIE electoral organizing body, Chafik Sasa, while addressing a conference on Monday, said citizens living abroad will be able to cast their ballots on December 19th, 20th and 21st. He said campaigning would begin on Tuesday and last until midnight of December 19th. He urged the candidates and the media to respect electoral campaign rules. Now, neither incumbent Masowski nor an 88-year-old political veteran, Essebsi, won an overall majority in the first round of the polling on November 23rd. The final results from the first round released on Monday showed Essebsi ahead with 39.46% of votes cast and Masowski on 33.43% votes cast. The election in the North African nation is the first time its people have been able to vote freely for their head of state since independence from France in 1956. The Olympic dreams of some athletes look to be shattered after the International Olympic Committee agreed Monday to scrap a cap on the number of sports, preferring instead a limit on the events held in the competition. A 28-sport cap has been dropped for future Olympic Games as part of a 40-point action plan to revamp the sporting showpiece. Potential hosts will also find it easier and cheaper to bid under the Olympic Agenda 2020 reforms. Meeting at the Grim Ladi Forum in Monaco, the IOC members agreed to drop the cap on 28 sports, voting instead to limit the Summer Games to 10,500 athletes and 310 events. IOC member Franco Carrero said the movement to an event-based program will offer more flexibility. Members can now brace themselves for a period of intense lobbying ahead of the 2020 Tokyo Games, with baseball and softball in particular seeking a spot of the program. We've come to the end of News Now. Thank you very much for joining us. I'm Thelma Okoro.